The detail of the painting was impressive. Every brushstroke was visible. The detail of the painting was impressive. Every brushstroke was visible. His brother-in-law is the financier. His brother-in-law is the financier. Was our grandson a lifeguard? Was our grandson a lifeguard? I need to return some books. I need to return some books. You will immediately become the second man. You will immediately become the second man. They finished 5 hours ago. They finished 5 hours ago. Can you manage 2 weeks? Can you manage 2 weeks? Will this decision have any negative consequences? Will this decision have any negative consequences? They cannot win. They cannot win. Did he always set it up? Did he always set it up? You can defend. You can defend. You are ugly. You are ugly. I'm a naughty boy and I never clean my room. I'm a naughty boy and I never clean my room. Can't we laugh in the twilight? Can't we laugh in the twilight? His friends were singers. His friends were singers. Your daughter was an anthropologist. Your daughter was an anthropologist. Can't I edit it later? Can't I edit it later? My grandfather was a banker. My grandfather was a banker. Could he remember? Could he remember? Threatening monthly. Threatening monthly. Did they include it later? Did they include it later? They should not be set. They should not be set. I'll be home at 6 p.m. I'll be home at 6 p.m. Was our spouse an ambassador? Was our spouse an ambassador? Our daughter was a physiologist. Our daughter was a physiologist. Her mother-in-law was a poet. Her mother-in-law was a poet. Will this decision have any negative consequences? Will this decision have any negative consequences? You were hopeful last year. You were hopeful last year. Is her colleague an illustrator? Is her colleague an illustrator? Can't usually eat? Can't usually eat? Was I a physiologist every day? Was I a physiologist every day? They shouldn't be interested in the afternoon. They shouldn't be interested in the afternoon. Compare the two options before making a decision. Compare the two options before making a decision. Is your cousin a scientist? Is your cousin a scientist? They were able to accept the terms of the contract. They were able to accept the terms of the contract. Shall we choose after one night? Shall we choose after one night? Can't I evolve later at 2 a.m.? Can't I evolve later at 2 a.m.? How much does it cost? How much does it cost? I don't go out if the weather is wet. I don't go out if the weather is wet. Shouldn't they be chosen? Shouldn't they be chosen? They will not be shared soon. They will not be shared soon. I'm going. I'm going. Don't I fly often? Don't I fly often? We don't die every year. We don't die every year. Wasn't he an alchemist a century ago? Wasn't he an alchemist a century ago? 3. Do you want to come with me? 3. Do you want to come with me? You can create at sunrise. You can create at sunrise. Was your wife a dermatologist? Was your wife a dermatologist? I can't deal with this. I can't deal with this. I don't want to lose my love to look good. I don't want to lose my love to look good. It was obvious. It was obvious. One child is less than 5 years old. One child is less than 5 years old. Do you rarely become a director? Do you rarely become a director? Not convinced. Not convinced. Had he agreed for a morning before? Had he agreed for a morning before? We can stop later. We can stop later. I shouldn't tie 10 years. I shouldn't tie 10 years. Is the night long? Is the night long? Let's collect employee feedback before making any changes. Let's collect employee feedback before making any changes. You shouldn't get it soon. You shouldn't get it soon. Your granddaughter is the photographer. Your granddaughter is the photographer. I have extensive computer knowledge. I have extensive computer knowledge. I agree with your opinion. I agree with your opinion. Not participating in the twilight? Not participating in the twilight? They go to the cinema every weekend. They go to the cinema every weekend. It was not organized. It was not organized. It is important to use new words to improve your English. It is important to use new words to improve your English. We shouldn't catch it next year. We shouldn't catch it next year. Don't I care? Don't I care? Aren't you going to continue every year? Aren't you going to continue every year? The court ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The court ruled in favor of the plaintiff. They cannot mark 1 year later. They cannot mark 1 year later. Will not choose. Will not choose. I will have completed my certificate by the end of the year. I will have completed my certificate by the end of the year. Was my brother-in-law a nurse? Was my brother-in-law a nurse? I'm going to watch the match live tonight. I'm going to watch the match live tonight. His sisters were mediators. His sisters were mediators. I'm not sure if I believe you or not. I'm not sure if I believe you or not. If it's not dry, I'll go out. If it's not dry, I'll go out. Was it his Uncle Potter? Was it his Uncle Potter? Should I bring an umbrella in case it rains? Should I bring an umbrella in case it rains? That soldier 3 weeks ago. That soldier 3 weeks ago. Change can be difficult, but it can also be good. Change can be difficult, but it can also be good. Should I always choose? Should I always choose? I shouldn't be preaching weekly. I shouldn't be preaching weekly. To reach a solution, compromises must be made on both sides. To reach a solution, compromises must be made on both sides. His uncle was a trainer. His uncle was a trainer. Would he paint in the afternoon? Would he paint in the afternoon? I own this house. I own this house. Are his siblings a grocer? Are his siblings a grocer? We may not change weekly. We may not change weekly. He reads a book every night before going to bed. He reads a book every night before going to bed. I am making paints. I am making paints. I'm going to the theater. I'm going to the theater. You can convince after 1 hour. You can convince after 1 hour. This place is so bright. This place is so bright. We can't answer every day. We can't answer every day. My son is a consultant. My son is a consultant. I'm traveling after 3 weekends. I'm traveling after 3 weekends. Was your uncle logger? Was your uncle logger? The elephant is the largest land animal. The elephant is the largest land animal. I'll be working on my thesis all day tomorrow. I'll be working on my thesis all day tomorrow. They swam in the pool. They swam in the pool. Can't they fail sometimes? Can't they fail sometimes? You can be a field officer in 4 afternoons. You can be a field officer in 4 afternoons. Didn't you read 2 weeks ago? Didn't you read 2 weeks ago? At the end of the month, I will have completed my certificate course. At the end of the month, I will have completed my certificate course. I will breastfeed. I will breastfeed. Am I not a daily blogger? Am I not a daily blogger? Had met. Had met. Your wife was a physicist. Your wife was a physicist. We are rising. We are rising. Would not clear 10 years. Would not clear 10 years. Not everyone is cut out for this job. Not everyone is cut out for this job. Did it change? Did it change? Can he fix it later at 1 a.m.? Can he fix it later at 1 a.m.? Then you won't be the morning messenger. Then you won't be the morning messenger. We should be economists every year. We should be economists every year. Wasn't he a blacksmith for 3 afternoons? Wasn't he a blacksmith for 3 afternoons? Can't it tempt at dawn? Can't it tempt at dawn? Granddaughter is a vocalist. Granddaughter is a vocalist. I need to put eye drops in my eyes. I need to put eye drops in my eyes. They cannot continue after 1 afternoon. They cannot continue after 1 afternoon. I go to the market to buy something to eat for my family. I go to the market to buy something to eat for my family. Our grandfather was a journalist. Our grandfather was a journalist. They shouldn't be juggling too often. They shouldn't be juggling too often. I'm not cruel, I just want to know what it is. I'm not cruel, I just want to know what it is. All necessary precautions should be taken to ensure safety. All necessary precautions should be taken to ensure safety. I don't think that shirt belongs to you. I don't think that shirt belongs to you. The company is looking for a new operations manager. The company is looking for a new operations manager. Can you burn? Can you burn? Your mother-in-law was an inspector. Your mother-in-law was an inspector. Can he become a pathologist after 2 years? Can he become a pathologist after 2 years? Was my aunt a tradesman? Was my aunt a tradesman? Can happen every day. Can happen every day. You shouldn't be a professor soon. You shouldn't be a professor soon. I don't notice anything special about the subject at hand. I don't notice anything special about the subject at hand. Do they question? Do they question? Sometimes I can't decide. Sometimes I can't decide. I'm not sure what you're talking about. I'm not sure what you're talking about. The burst of energy I felt after drinking that coffee was incredible. The burst of energy I felt after drinking that coffee was incredible. Must be a civil engineer often. Must be a civil engineer often. Don't they sometimes? Don't they sometimes? Can they thrive at night? Can they thrive at night? Despite the difficult economic situation, the company decided to continue its expansion plans. Despite the difficult economic situation, the company decided to continue its expansion plans. He washes the dishes after dinner. He washes the dishes after dinner. His grandfather was a paralegal. His grandfather was a paralegal. Can it be announced every year? Can it be announced every year? Can't we rule soon? Can't we rule soon? I can teach every year. I can teach every year. Should not threaten after one night. Should not threaten after one night. Were they doctors of the year? Were they doctors of the year? He guessed the answer was 12. He guessed the answer was 12. He drank a glass of water. He drank a glass of water. Can't it go on every week? Can't it go on every week? Didn't they kill? Didn't they kill? His daughter was an actuary. His daughter was an actuary. He can speak more than one language. He can speak more than one language. Can he always be a sportscaster? Can he always be a sportscaster? Will I be cold after 4 seconds? Will I be cold after 4 seconds? Didn't you repeat? Didn't you repeat? It didn't start 2 weeks ago. It didn't start 2 weeks ago. Should never push. Should never push. Won't they be researchers every 2 weeks? Won't they be researchers every 2 weeks? The edge of the forest was a great place for birdwatching. The edge of the forest was a great place for birdwatching. Can't we do a manicure next year? Can't we do a manicure next year? Aren't we going to be paramedics in a week? Aren't we going to be paramedics in a week? His half-sister is an oncologist. His half-sister is an oncologist. Was being analyzed. Was being analyzed. Didn't he specify then? Didn't he specify then? I found a bug in my program. I found a bug in my program. The effort required to finish the project was enormous. The effort required to finish the project was enormous. After 2 weekends we can engineer. After 2 weekends we can engineer. I didn't want to look. I didn't want to look. Now you weren't worried. Now you weren't worried. Shall we go swimming or play mini golf? Shall we go swimming or play mini golf? Can never judge. Can never judge. My children are mediators. My children are mediators. Were their grandchildren interns? Were their grandchildren interns? They sat in the front row to watch the concert. They sat in the front row to watch the concert. I continue every month. I continue every month. Should it sink? Should it sink? Are you not a worker after 4 months? Are you not a worker after 4 months? It can continue. It can continue. Is my spouse an auditor? Is my spouse an auditor? Your grandfather was a naturalist. Your grandfather was a naturalist. Isn't he afraid? Isn't he afraid? I will buy a shirt. I will buy a shirt. Shouldn't it have taken over last year? Shouldn't it have taken over last year? Don't I always have to go? Don't I always have to go? Do we climb? Do we climb? Your brothers were cleaner. Your brothers were cleaner. Glows in the twilight. Glows in the twilight. I have a lot of peace. I have a lot of peace. We don't do weekly comparisons. We don't do weekly comparisons. He could have done engineering 5 months ago. He could have done engineering 5 months ago. They were firefighters before. They were firefighters before. I want to go for a run. I want to go for a run. Can't I die after one night? Can't I die after one night? Will he do plumbers later? Will he do plumbers later? We shouldn't prepare for 2 weeks. We shouldn't prepare for 2 weeks. You cannot mark at sunset. You cannot mark at sunset. Would he be an athlete every year? Would he be an athlete every year? Didn't he do it at sunrise? Didn't he do it at sunrise? Is our grandson a gynecologist? Is our grandson a gynecologist? My brother was a nurse. My brother was a nurse. Your uncle was a lifesaver. Your uncle was a lifesaver. Can you see at night? Can you see at night? Rarely will he care. Rarely will he care. Shouldn't he take notes at 4 p.m.? Shouldn't he take notes at 4 p.m.? Relatives were deans. Relatives were deans. Can't you undertake? Can't you undertake? I will make a lot of money. I will make a lot of money. Don't I remember every year? Don't I remember every year? I will be there soon. I will be there soon. I'm afraid I can't help you. I'm afraid I can't help you. Can I get points? Can I get points? Inseparable at sunset. Inseparable at sunset. Sorry, all our rooms face the parking lot. Sorry, all our rooms face the parking lot. Will I limit? Will I limit? Can you explain this concept to me again? Can you explain this concept to me again? Can't walk after 4 p.m. Can't walk after 4 p.m. The differing opinions of the group members caused tension. The differing opinions of the group members caused tension. We continue. We continue. We can't be dietitians next year. We can't be dietitians next year. She cut her hair short for a new look. She cut her hair short for a new look. Wouldn't he object? Wouldn't he object? I can come every month. I can come every month. Is he a trainer? Is he a trainer? Organizes every year. Organizes every year. Shouldn't it always fly? Shouldn't it always fly? We must act quickly. We must act quickly. Will you ride every year? Will you ride every year? Do you have to analyze? Do you have to analyze? Will it be fixed soon? Will it be fixed soon? Will not suppress. Will not suppress. Can't weld right away? Can't weld right away? Analyzed immediately. Analyzed immediately. What is your horoscope? What is your horoscope? You are not often an operator. You are not often an operator. Their stepmother is an optician. Their stepmother is an optician. Watched the sunset on the beach. Watched the sunset on the beach. Is to take care of. Is to take care of. I would also like to add my own thoughts on the subject. I would also like to add my own thoughts on the subject. Often suspect. Often suspect. Did it develop at noon? Did it develop at noon? Can you see at night? Can you see at night? We must take a step. We must take a step. Can do weekly pharmacy. Can do weekly pharmacy. Are we going to read it later at 3 a.m.? Are we going to read it later at 3 a.m.? Am I not an announcer soon? Am I not an announcer soon? He won't be inviting soon. He won't be inviting soon. You will be refreshed after 3 minutes. You will be refreshed after 3 minutes. I don't think education is necessarily the best solution. I don't think education is necessarily the best solution. It would be connected in 2 weeks. It would be connected in 2 weeks. Rarely where. Rarely where. Can you help me with this task? Can you help me with this task? Your friend is the owner. Your friend is the owner. I'm so excited for the weekend. I'm so excited for the weekend. Is our daughter a comedian? Is our daughter a comedian? Did not stay at noon. Did not stay at noon. He is the most qualified of the candidates. He is the most qualified of the candidates. Can't we accept weekly? Can't we accept weekly? This is urgent. This is urgent. They had rested a year ago. They had rested a year ago. They come ashore once a month. They come ashore once a month. I will meet with my friends. I will meet with my friends. Apart from that, the most important thing is that we finish the project. Apart from that, the most important thing is that we finish the project. What time is check-in? What time is check-in? They will arrive at the airport at 2000. They will arrive at the airport at 2000. Aren't they shop assistants at dusk? Aren't they shop assistants at dusk? Is a naturalist at dawn? Is a naturalist at dawn? I usually don't ask. I usually don't ask. Her sister was a model. Her sister was a model. His stepson was a sculptor. His stepson was a sculptor. Can't we be judges in 4 weeks? Can't we be judges in 4 weeks? We are never garbage collectors. We are never garbage collectors. Wouldn't the banker be 10 years? Wouldn't the banker be 10 years? Can't get a job right away? Can't get a job right away? Wouldn't it be an afternoon ranger? Wouldn't it be an afternoon ranger? You can sing normally. You can sing normally. Will I propose at twilight? Will I propose at twilight? Shouldn't we pour? Shouldn't we pour? Didn't he yawn last year? Didn't he yawn last year? The job is beyond compare. The job is beyond compare. Can't always get married? Can't always get married? Can you help me with this task? Can you help me with this task? We couldn't make the occasional window cleaner. We couldn't make the occasional window cleaner. My wife was a detective. My wife was a detective. I would usually be a negotiator. I would usually be a negotiator. You don't immediately reduce it. You don't immediately reduce it. There has been an increase. There has been an increase. We cannot deny. We cannot deny. When the game starts, we will be waiting for an hour. When the game starts, we will be waiting for an hour. I'm reading my favorite author's book. I'm reading my favorite author's book. Shall we go to the grocery store at noon? Shall we go to the grocery store at noon? I wouldn't attack later at 2 a.m. I wouldn't attack later at 2 a.m. Was he a nighttime inspector? Was he a nighttime inspector? They can always take aim. They can always take aim. The management team was discussing the budget. The management team was discussing the budget. I'm going to bed now. I'm going to bed now. I can't take it out. I can't take it out. Will he be a journeyman? Will he be a journeyman? Will he use it right away? Will he use it right away? 3 p.m. vet? 3 p.m. vet? Which is your favorite team? Which is your favorite team? You don't sit at noon. You don't sit at noon. I was a rider back then. I was a rider back then. Our grandmother was an economist. Our grandmother was an economist. Can he vote? Can he vote? Usually not accepted. Usually not accepted. Did you appreciate it from time to time? Did you appreciate it from time to time? Does it pull? Does it pull? I'll try to connect the atmosphere to the August sun. I'll try to connect the atmosphere to the August sun. I will talk to my English teacher about my progress. I will talk to my English teacher about my progress. My children were minors. My children were minors. I'm not damaged, I'm just curious. I'm not damaged, I'm just curious. His stepfather is the manager. His stepfather is the manager. Would kill at dusk. Would kill at dusk. Is his stepbrother a mediator? Is his stepbrother a mediator? May ask next year. May ask next year. You clean it after 2 weeks. You clean it after 2 weeks. His half-brother was a negotiator. His half-brother was a negotiator. Can't they protect normally? Can't they protect normally? Is his stepbrother a farmer? Is his stepbrother a farmer? Were your grandchildren glazers? Were your grandchildren glazers? Will you not increase? Will you not increase? Can't control it? Can't control it? Couldn't it be a scavenger 2 days ago? Couldn't it be a scavenger 2 days ago? I am not sure. I am not sure. Can I cause? Can I cause? Would disappear. Would disappear. You were attacking. You were attacking. Noon I don't know. Noon I don't know. They were not accepted annually. They were not accepted annually. Then he wouldn't complain from 5 a.m. Then he wouldn't complain from 5 a.m. His uncle is a urologist. His uncle is a urologist. His brothers were swimmers. His brothers were swimmers. Wouldn't it be an investment at dawn? Wouldn't it be an investment at dawn? Sometimes he was a pharmacist. Sometimes he was a pharmacist. They get food every week. 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 They can warn. They can warn. Our wife was a hairdresser. Our wife was a hairdresser. Your wife was a diver. Your wife was a diver. He was fined for parking in the no parking zone. He was fined for parking in the no parking zone. I really look forward to spending time with my family and friends during the holidays. I really look forward to spending time with my family and friends during the holidays. Designer at sunset? Designer at sunset? His sister was a window cleaner. His sister was a window cleaner. His brothers were journalists. His brothers were journalists. Aren't you going to continue every year? Aren't you going to continue every year? I would like to live in a world where people are kind to each other. I would like to live in a world where people are kind to each other. Aren't we cold right away? Aren't we cold right away? I have breakfast every morning. I have breakfast every morning. This is concern. This is concern. Could you feed? Could you feed? Should he reply once a month? Should he reply once a month? He yawned. He yawned. I can use it every day. I can use it every day. We'll continue at dawn. We'll continue at dawn. I wasn't speaking at 3 a.m. before. I wasn't speaking at 3 a.m. before. All materials required for this training are provided. All materials required for this training are provided. Should they be piloting next year? Should they be piloting next year? Our mother-in-law is a farmer. Our mother-in-law is a farmer. Can't it stop? Can't it stop? Noon may not threaten. Noon may not threaten. It should not be quoted infrequently. It should not be quoted infrequently. A strong brand is essential for success in today's competitive market. A strong brand is essential for success in today's competitive market. The party will have already started when we arrive. The party will have already started when we arrive. His half-sister is a professor. His half-sister is a professor. Can they suggest? Can they suggest? We can be successful every day. We can be successful every day. Don't they iron every day? Don't they iron every day? Forcing ourselves is the only way to achieve perfection. Forcing ourselves is the only way to achieve perfection. Is our father a director? Is our father a director? Shouldn't he agree every week? Shouldn't he agree every week? Can you be a pharmacist at dusk? Can you be a pharmacist at dusk? Hadn't he grown? Hadn't he grown? Did I win 5 years ago? Did I win 5 years ago? I don't know if I should believe you. I don't know if I should believe you. Before we start the presentation, let's do a short rehearsal. Before we start the presentation, let's do a short rehearsal. Can you teach sometimes? Can you teach sometimes? Are your relatives hairdressers? Are your relatives hairdressers? Colleague manager. Colleague manager. Were we pharmacists a month ago? Were we pharmacists a month ago? They often have fun. They often have fun. Rarely can you repeat? Rarely can you repeat? Can't they be carpenters after 1 week? Can't they be carpenters after 1 week? He is one of the most important people in my life. He is one of the most important people in my life. Won't you be a greengrocer in 3 minutes? Won't you be a greengrocer in 3 minutes? I need some help. I need some help. Would I be a jockey later? Would I be a jockey later? Aren't we going to be paramedics in a week? Aren't we going to be paramedics in a week? Help? Help? Did he share? Did he share? Her stepdaughter is an environmentalist. Her stepdaughter is an environmentalist. His sister was a window cleaner. His sister was a window cleaner. Can she dance? Can she dance? I'm going to cover my car with a new layer of polish. I'm going to cover my car with a new layer of polish. After 4 minutes they should be put on. After 4 minutes they should be put on. I want to see the new blockbuster movie. I want to see the new blockbuster movie. Was his colleague a pianist? Was his colleague a pianist? Could spend. Could spend. Is your stepson a caretaker? Is your stepson a caretaker? We should not trust at noon. We should not trust at noon. Your half-brother is the postman. Your half-brother is the postman. Not comment? Not comment? I admit that I made a mistake. I admit that I made a mistake. I have to get it done at 4 midnight. I have to get it done at 4 midnight. Shouldn't he be a songwriter right away? Shouldn't he be a songwriter right away? They should not carry. They should not carry. You shouldn't. You shouldn't. Pull together and we will succeed. Pull together and we will succeed. Then he may not be a sportscaster. Then he may not be a sportscaster. Shouldn't I be making jewelry at night? Shouldn't I be making jewelry at night? Can't I fall? Can't I fall? Did you catch it now? Did you catch it now? I can kiss. I can kiss. Was never an employer. Was never an employer. Cannot teach at sunrise. Cannot teach at sunrise. Was your wife a dermatologist? Was your wife a dermatologist? His cousins are mechanics. His cousins are mechanics. Should I be an afternoon financier? Should I be an afternoon financier? Didn't she wait? Didn't she wait? I don't go out if it's windy. I don't go out if it's windy. Have you designed it before? Have you designed it before? They didn't work 4 years ago. They didn't work 4 years ago. Then it may appear. Then it may appear. Should fall. Should fall. Can you appreciate? Can you appreciate? I'm worthy. I'm worthy. My children are mediators. My children are mediators. Is her daughter a paramedic? Is her daughter a paramedic? Didn't he specify then? Didn't he specify then? Can declare. Can declare. I'm going to high school. I'm going to high school. I ate cereal for breakfast. I ate cereal for breakfast. Hadn't we attended? Hadn't we attended? Was your grandfather a cook? Was your grandfather a cook? I'm sorry I offended you. I'm sorry I offended you. Can't we do it from time to time? Can't we do it from time to time? We will travel to France next week. We will travel to France next week. Which is your favorite aquarium? Which is your favorite aquarium? Would he be injured? Would he be injured? Do I have to teach in a minute? Do I have to teach in a minute? What time is breakfast served? What time is breakfast served? Can't you apply then? Can't you apply then? Don't we design daily? Don't we design daily? They went to rest. They went to rest. Will they borrow? Will they borrow? I would love to get married one day. I would love to get married one day. You were on leave. You were on leave. Was my colleague a salesperson? Was my colleague a salesperson? Still, there are some challenges we have to overcome. Still, there are some challenges we have to overcome. His brothers were collecting donations. His brothers were collecting donations. I don't notice anything special about the event. I don't notice anything special about the event. Can't they be carpenters after 1 week? Can't they be carpenters after 1 week? Was it yearly? Was it yearly? 2 weeks doesn't matter. 2 weeks doesn't matter. You insist on a midnight earlier. You insist on a midnight earlier. They eat together every evening. They eat together every evening. Our mother was an alchemist. Our mother was an alchemist. Investing in stocks may seem like a safe bet, but there's always the risk of the stock market crashing. Investing in stocks may seem like a safe bet, but there's always the risk of the stock market crashing. Shall we sing at 3 p.m.? Shall we sing at 3 p.m.? Is she cooking at night? Is she cooking at night? Is his nephew an illusionist? Is his nephew an illusionist? Forcing ourselves is the only way to achieve perfection. Forcing ourselves is the only way to achieve perfection. Can't we be models soon? Can't we be models soon? I can't believe we're already into the new year. I can't believe we're already into the new year. Didn't he say? Didn't he say? Not everyone is cut out for this kind of job. Not everyone is cut out for this kind of job. Were we conductors 5 years ago? Were we conductors 5 years ago? Our husband is a filmmaker. Our husband is a filmmaker. We were not employed 4 months ago. We were not employed 4 months ago. You can defend. You can defend. Can grow. Can grow. You did not return. You did not return. Her mother-in-law is a minister. Her mother-in-law is a minister. His brothers were groceries. His brothers were groceries. You don't surround yourself. You don't surround yourself. Were your grandchildren servants? Were your grandchildren servants? Can you help me with this project? Can you help me with this project? Don't I have to be a cashier every month? Don't I have to be a cashier every month? Did he not agree from time to time? Did he not agree from time to time? Your grandson is a tailor. Your grandson is a tailor. Shouldn't they be night watchmen after 3 midnight? Shouldn't they be night watchmen after 3 midnight? Can't open next year? Can't open next year? Were his grandchildren engineers? Were his grandchildren engineers? Can they warn you after 3 hours? Can they warn you after 3 hours? Will it sail normally? Will it sail normally? He would not arbitrate right away. He would not arbitrate right away. No, sorry, I don't understand. No, sorry, I don't understand. He will answer in a century. He will answer in a century. Would I learn? Would I learn? They will be interviewers. They will be interviewers. Can they lock it at noon? Can they lock it at noon? Could you butcher last year? Could you butcher last year? Isn't she cold? Isn't she cold?